one of the things that you're the second German company that I've interviewed for this series, but the first that would have had to survive through the wartime era. And just I would like to get your perspective on what you understand those times have been like, and production, I imagine, for the military. Yes. And surviving on the other end.
Yeah, I heard a lot of stories. In our area, the Nazis was not as popular as, for example, in the south of Germany or eastern parts of Germany. But of course, they were everywhere since 1933. Our family was not in the party. There are stories about my great-grandmother that she was not in favor of Adolf Hitler. That was also the reason why she got in trouble a little bit during these days. The secret police, the Gestapo, came and asked my grandfather what her mother is doing, what he's telling, and what she's telling, and all these kind of things. But he said, "Listen, it's an old lady, I cannot control her." And then they went away. But it was a hard time, my father told me, after the Second World War. We started the production again. During the Second World War, we had to produce for, I think it was a plane engine factory in Bremen, where we had to produce parts. Every manufacturing place had to produce some parts which could be used in the war. And at Krone, we had to produce parts for the plane factory in Bremen or something like that. But immediately after the Second World War, we tried to reorganize our manufacturing business and sales and everything. So I remember a story which my father told me, that they went over the you couldn't buy anything for assembling or industry propose or whatever. So they went to the Netherlands and they bought bearings, and they had to put it in the car underneath the seat, and they were smuggling, so that they had bearings for assembling machines. That is what I remember. I'm pretty sure that it was U.S. military tanks came through Spelle, and one was hit right at the intersection close to our factory. And they were shooting down the road, and you still can see I call it bullet holes. Is that the right word, Rusty? Shrapnel in the wall of our restaurant, which is still the original wall from the old days, the outside wall, and you still can see the little holes from that shooting. Yeah. That reminds me every day when I'm sitting outside there how important it is to be, have good relations with your friends, and how important peace is, and that is something you have to work on. It is not, peace is not something which is just there. You have to live it. Yeah.
We'll have some listeners. We'll have some old timers who've been around a long time. We'll also have some newer people listening to this who maybe don't understand how big the 90s were, how your company came in and did some things never done before. I was going to ask you to trace some of the greatest product developments that had come during that time.
Therefore you have to understand where we came from. I just said we made tillage equipment, and we made tedders and rakes and mowers for farmers. And then we had somebody in the company at the late 70s already, I think, who developed the first round baler for us. And my father was not even sure if we should manufacture this round baler by ourselves, or should we sell it to somebody. So he talked to John Deere, and they had already a baler, I think a belt baler at that time. And they said, no, we don't need another baler. And then my father said, okay, if nobody wants it, I really like the design and everything. We do it on our own. So after 25 years, they were number one in Europe with this round baler, and it's a really big success story. And that showed everybody, also all employees in the company, that also with new products, with totally new things, we can achieve also a great success. And then in 1995, they introduced the first square baler. Then later on, we had the HDP technology, the high density baler, and that was very much needed especially by professional customers, contractors, or maybe mushroom farmers, all these kind of things in Germany and in Europe. And today, also around the world, we have a market share in Australia of nearly 50%. At the moment, we have a market share in Germany of 40%. So our large square balers are really a very good product and one of our most important products. And then late 90s, we introduced the Big M, the first self-propelled mower conditioner. And then in the early 2000s, we introduced our first forage harvester, the Big X. In the coming years, also the biggest forager in the world with more than 1,000 horsepower.
One of the things that we were talking about last night is how your sister runs the dealer end of the business, separate company, and that is called
LVD.
LVD.
Yeah.
Okay, so the history of having had direct dealer experience coming up through the years must be helpful at the same time as a manufacturer. Could you speak on that?
We got immediately response without any filters or something like that. The business was for a very long time run by a cousin of my father, Walter Krone, and when a machine was not working right, he immediately said to our people in the factory when there was a problem, here you have to take care about this or that. No, but after that we were working as a blacksmith. Soon after that, we started to produce. A couple of years later, we started to produce our own equipment, little things, and we started to sell other equipment, especially tractors. So we have a long history with Lanz Bulldog, which is now John Deere in Mannheim. And we sold Hanomag tractors, which is now Komatsu construction equipment in Hanover. And yes, we sold a lot of tractors. In the early days, they were thousands of tractors which we sold from this brand. And then later on, we also sold Fendt tractors. And I would say nearly since, 50 years we sell, around about 50 years we sell John Deere tractors. And my sister is probably the biggest John Deere dealer in Europe.
I'm not certain that here in America that is known, that you also have very deep dealer roots as a company. I
think in Germany, some manufacturers started as dealers and then they developed their own equipment. But nobody is left who still have that dealership business or dealer business. I think Krone is pretty much the last one who's having that. And but we also put that out of the Krone Group. It is run by my sister, so we have no conflict of interest. And we still have grown the business in the last couple of years because now also a Deutz dealership belongs to our group, so to say. Yeah.
Is your sister a good dealer for you?
A very good dealer, yeah. But of course, she is not allowed to sell every product like our forage harvesters. That's also the reason why we have another dealership in that area, which sells Deutz tractors and our own forage harvesters. Yeah.
initially came into the United States in the 70s through a partnership with two other manufacturers. Is that correct? Could you explain that?
Oh, that was
before your time.
Even before I was born.
Yeah.
So probably Rusty is the one who can explain much better. But just with a few words, I think it was very important for our company that we came to the United States. Especially my father says today, especially my great-grandfather always wanted to be in the United States, because he said, although at that time, the United States is the most important and biggest agricultural market in the world. And if we want to be successful in the world, we have to be successful in the United States. And we started with two other manufacturers, and I think they are all not existing anymore. More or less, I think we had a good team to start. Of course, it took a while until everybody in our company had, realized that we're not only selling machines maybe in our neighborhood, that we are in south of Germany, that we also sell maybe machines to California, where the harvest is much earlier. There's a story which we sometimes laugh about, that somebody from the United States called and said, "Hey, guys, we need the machines very bad. Harvest starts soon." The engineer stands up and looked out of the window and said, "Hey, listen, grass is not even growing. What is the problem? Yeah, we still have snow or something like that."